cleaned the house twice over that morning, Pip sat outside and watched. She watched as he lifted the wooden shaft high above his head, held it steady for a moment, then drove the metal head down into the ground. She smiled faintly. It reminded her of when she was a child, back when they had just harvested a particularly fine crop and thrown a party in the fields. Her mother had been there then, and her first brother. They didn't have any money or possessions to throw a party like the rich folks do, so they ran out to the freshly harvested fields and chased each other around, playing games and lying in the cold, damp soil. That was just shy of 2 decades ago. They haven't had a harvest anywhere near as good since then. They're all older now. Her mother is gone. Her first brother is gone. And she is in charge of the house while her father and brother toil away in the dirt. It pains her to see them that way, working away, sweating in the hot sun and even in the cold, bitter rain. They refuse to let her help. She's offered many times. They always give the same reply, father and son alike. You're a woman, Pip. Women do not work in the fields. That is a man's job. And after that, she goes back into their small hardwood house to cook or clean or whatever it is that's been labelled for women to do. How unpleasant this life is, she thinks to herself. She watches for one last time as her father pounds another hole into the ground, ready for the planting phase. Then she quietly stands and goes inside. They live on the top of a hill. Most of the people in their village do. They have to. They live on the high point so that they can watch over their crops and so that rain rolls down from the hill and onto the plants. From the top of the hill, she can see the gate bordering the village, which marks their territory to outsiders. At least, they say it's for outsiders, but they wander in and out as they please. They feel they are superior, waving their noses in the air, marking that the villagers stink and handing them tiny purses of silver coins. But the villagers don't appreciate their visits. They see through the pretense. They come to gloat. But there's nothing they can do about it. No. The gate isn't for outsiders. Not really. It's for the villagers on the inside. It is to keep them in. They're the unhappy ones, wondering if they'll ever escape this life. Each generation eventually giving up hope and then trying to get the best result for their children instead. Then it goes on in circles and no one ever gets anywhere. And then there are the rich folk outside the gates. Pip can see them now, from where she stands at the window. Instead of large pastures to play in, they have neatly trimmed soft grassy areas. And instead of houses made of roughly cut hardwood, they have fancy materials like mud brick and smooth stone. And they always look so clean and happy, and they never have the skin on bone look or the sunken eyes, protruding cheekbones that are evident in most of the residents of the village. And each household has at least one draw horse, well, most of which have two, while the whole village is lucky to have one, which they all share. Pip's family is no dray. Their father and brother carry everything themselves, so if it is too much, they call her uncles to help them. Pip gazes at the children and wishes she could have been one of them. She wavers in her dream momentarily, and dispels it in defeat. It's too late for me now, she thinks. There's no way I can be like them. It's nearing the time for me to abandon all hope, get married, have children, and do the best I can to get them out of here. That's what all other villagers do. I've seen it many times, though I've never seen it work. Those who are born on the farm stay on the farm until heaven grabs them by the throat and pulls them back into the sky. Her mother told her that, and her mother's father. Although she added what she thought to be a more realistic ending. This got her thinking again. How unpleasant this life is. She never knew then just how wrong she was. She began to realize that she was wrong about the fact that no one ever escapes the gates, because she did. But she was wrong about how happy the Richfolk are, because she remains unhappy. She was wrong about everything. The brick houses turned out to be cold and dusty and took up too much outside space, and the soft grass felt like sopping moss compared to the cold, coarse grass she was used to. She'd escaped the gates. She married a wealthy man, and he took her to the same town she could see from her father's house. But even still, she is not happy. Every day she walks to the gate, but she's not allowed in, and watches her father and brother toil away in the fields, pretending that they do not recognize her with her clean face and bright dress. And again, she finds herself thinking, how unpleasant this life is.